The Odyssey, Part 1, A Son Seeks a Father. Book 1, Athena Advises Telemachus. Homer opens with an invocation, or prayer, asking the muse to help him sing his tale. Notice how the singer gives his listeners hints about how his story is to end. Sing in me, muse, and through me tell the story of that man skilled in all ways of contending. The wanderer, harried for years on end after he plundered the stronghold on the proud height of Troy. He saw the townlands and learned the minds of many distant men, and weathered many bitter nights and days in his deep heart at sea, while he fought only to save his life, to bring his shipmates home. But not by will nor valor could he save them, for their own recklessness destroyed them all. Children and fools they killed and feasted on the cattle of Lord Helios, the sun, and he who moves all day through heaven took from their eyes the dawn of their return. Of these adventures, Muse, daughter of Zeus, tell us in our time, lift the great song again. We learn that Odysseus is alive, 20 years older than when he had left for the war in Troy. He is being kept prisoner on Ogygia, the island of the nymph Calypso, who wants him for herself. Meanwhile, the gods on Mount Olympus are discussing Odysseus. His patroness there, the goddess Athena, begs her father Zeus to allow Odysseus to return safely to his home in Ithaca. But Odysseus has an enemy among the gods. The sea god Poseidon is angry at the hero for having blinded his son, the Cyclops called Polyphemus. Zeus agrees with Athena, and Hermes, the messenger god, is to be sent to Ogygia to command Calypso to free Odysseus. Athena's next move is to make her way to Ithaca to help Odysseus' young son, Telemachus, cope with another problem. His home, the palace of Odysseus, is overrun by his mother's suitors. Those arrogant men have taken over Odysseus' house. They are partying on the boy's inheritance and are demanding that his mother, Penelope, take one of them as a husband. Here we now have the main themes of the epic. Number 1. A boy must struggle to become a man. Number 2, a soldier must struggle to get home from a war. Number 3, a king must struggle to reclaim a kingdom, Ithaca. Now the goddess Athena arrives on the scene in Ithaca. Disguised as Mentor, an old family friend, she mingles with the mob of suitors and waits to talk to Telemachus. Long before anyone else, the Prince Telemachus now caught sight of Athena, for he, too, was sitting there, unhappy among the suitors, a boy, daydreaming. What if his great father came from the unknown world and drove these men like dead leaves through the place, recovering honor and lordship in his own domains? Then he who dreamed in the crowd gazed out at Athena. Straight to the door he came, irked with himself to think a visitor had been kept there waiting, and took her right hand, grasping with his left her tall bronze-bladed spear. Then he said warmly, "Greetings, stranger. Welcome to our feast. There will be time to tell your errand later." He led the way, and Pallas Athena followed into the lofty hall. The boy reached up and thrust her spear high in a polished rack against a pillar, where tough spear on spear of the old soldier, his father, stood in order. Then, shaking out a splendid coverlet, he seated her on a throne with footrest, all finely carved, and drew his painted armchair near her, at a distance from the rest. To be amid the din, the suitors' riot, would ruin his guest's appetite, he thought, and he wished privacy to ask for news about his father, gone for years. As Telemachus and the goddess in disguise talk, the suitors are partying loudly all around them. Telemachus tells the goddess that the men are eating through all they have, courting his mother, and using his house as if it were theirs to wreck and plunder. Pallas Athena was disturbed and said, "Ah, bitterly you need Odysseus then. High time he came back to engage these upstarts. I wish we saw him standing helmeted there in the doorway, holding shield and spear, looking the way he did when I first knew him. If I were you, I should take steps to make these men disperse. Listen now and attend to what I say. At daybreak, call the islanders to assembly and speak your will, and call the gods to witness. The suitors must go scattering to their homes. Then here's a course for you, if you agree. Get a sound craft afloat with 20 oars and go abroad for news of your lost father. Perhaps a traveler's tale or rumored fame issued from Zeus abroad in the world of men. Talk to that noble sage at Pylos, Nestor. Then go to Menelaus, the red-haired king at Sparta, last man home of all the Achaeans. If you should learn your father is alive and coming home, you could hold out a year. Or if you learn that he is dead and gone, then you can come back to your own dear country and raise a mound for him and burn his gear with all the funeral honors due the man, and give your mother to another husband. When you have done all this, or seen it done, it will be time to ponder concerning these contenders to your house, how you should kill them, outright or by guile. You need not bear this insolence of theirs. You are a child no longer,